Okay, so we're going to start with the rail. The rail piece looks like this. So I'm going to take these dimensions and model it again from scratch. You should have a technical drawing, probably a hand-drawn version of this that you can take into CAD. So I'm going to start with Fusion. I've already made a demo, I've already made one, so I'm going to make a demo file just to show you how to do this. So in your project folder, make a separate folder, double click into that, and then we're going to make a new part. All right, so we're going to go drawing. This is already open, so I'm going to close this for a second. Don't save that. We're going to make a new part. So new. We're going to start with the part design. So just to understand, the way we're going to model this is called bottom-up assembly. We're going to make each of the parts in different part files, and then we're going to chuck it into we'll make an assembly file, chuck all the parts in the assembly, and then we can put mates and constraints on them so it mimics physics, and you can actually see it come together as an assembly. As you can see, there's 3 blocks here. It'll assemble the parts together. So I'm going to create a new part. Make sure your default's in millimeters, and the type is solid. Make sure it's highlighted. Create new, and we're going to start modeling it. So we're going to start with the first sketch. We go to sketch, choose a plane. I'm going to choose a front plane here, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. So my rectangle is going to look like this. Sketch on this plane first. Okay, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. Because it's symmetric, I'm purposely going to choose a 2-point rectangle, center rectangle, a center rectangle, so that I can capture the datum right in the middle. Okay, that way I can make the vertical and the horizontal planes exactly in the middle, and I'll tell you why in a bit why that's handy. I've drawn the rectangle. I can now go and dimension it. So dimensioning's in here. Okay. Oops, not constraints. We don't want to do that. Don't do auto. Okay, auto's bad. I would actually manually dimension it. So I think dimensions in here. Sketch dimension. Shortcut is D. So I want to be using D from now on to dimension. Looking at our drawing. Okay, dimension the length of this to be 270, and the width is 45. Okay, notice the lines turn black. That's what we want. Black lines are locked in. It means they are constrained. They have been defined. What that means is if I were to then press escape, so I'm out of the dimension tool, I can no longer move and wiggle these lines. Okay, it's been fully defined as 270 by 45. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that when we're done with sketches, all our sketches are black lines. Okay, black lines are constrained sketches. Reason being is, let's say I delete this 45. If I delete it, you notice these 2 lines turn blue. It means if you left it like this, yes, it's still 45. But let's say someone else handled your model, like someone else came into your model. Or you might have done this accidentally yourself. You go into the model, you click on the line, and you accidentally move it. Okay, so now you can actually move it. It's not constrained in the vertical axis, which means that's no longer 45. And so this will disrupt all the other parts that it would be mated to when you make your assembly. So it's very good practice to define your sketches at every instance that you can. So once again, I put the dimension on that line, chuck it in, type in 45, enter. Now it's constrained. Finish that sketch. Okay, I'm now going to extrude it, turn it into a 3D shape. It picks up the first closed shape. If you hold down Shift and middle mouse button, you can get a 3D view, and you can click on this arrow and move it to simulate how thick it's going to be. So you can override it here in this box that opens up. Okay, the distance we're going to extrude it is the thickness of the material, which is 19 mil, and we click OK. That's our block of wood. Ignore the grain direction for now. My default setting for material is pine, but the grain direction is not correct as to how the wood's going to come out. I'm going to show you how to do that in a separate video. So the next thing we're going to do is now cut out the joints. Okay, we're going to cut out these joints on the side. So once you get a block of wood, what do? You're going to sketch on that surface, edit, create sketch, and you're going to draw the joint that you need to cut out. In this case, we're making a shouldered mortise and tenon, and I'm only going to do one side. I'll tell you why I'm not going to do the other side for now. Notice that I clicked on that corner. It knows that's a corner that's coincident with the edge. That's why it's black, but these lines aren't defined. So once I'm finished with my rectangle tool, I press OK. You can see here that I can click and drag this up and down, right, and this one left and right, because it's not defined. So we need to define it with dimensions. Shortcut is D. Hit D. Select that line. Work out how much that's got to be. Okay, In this case, it's 25. You know what? I've dimensioned it from the bottom line, so I might do that there. I'm going to dimension it to this bottom line. So when you click dimension, you can do it from a point to a point to a line, or just a line. I want that. I want this dimension here because I like to use the base as the datum. So my datum to the start of that edge is 25, and the depth of the cut here to here is 19, same thickness, because that's where it's going to go into the leg piece. Okay, so that's all rectangle, that's all black lines, that's exactly what I'm after. Now, to save yourself time not having to do it on the other side, we know it's mirror imaged. So I'm just going to draw a new line in the middle here. I'm going to snap to this point, I'm going to snap to this point, right? Click OK. Convert this line to a center line, which is right here. Okay, you can always convert it back to an outline by clicking on that again. I want it to be a center line, because then I can then use that center plane to mirror these features, so I don't have to do the other side. So I can go to this tool called Mirror, which is in here, Create Mirror. I can select the things I want to mirror. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. You can also click and drag, by the way. That also works. Okay. Choose the mirror plane, and it automatically knows that's the first mirror plane that we came up with. Just select this. There you go. There you go. And that it previews what it's going to look like. Hit OK, and it creates that other side. Okay. I finished the sketch, and I made 2 rectangles. Oh, the great thing about this mirror, I haven't finished it. I didn't click that yet. The greatest thing about this is if I change this number, for example, I make that 25, the other side updates too. So this is a smart, working smarter, thinking harder, working smarter way of doing things, dimensioning. It allows you to do the minimum amount of dimension required, and it gets you the maximum output with the least amount of energy. So that's done. 1925. Finish the sketch. And now we're going to extrude again, but in this case, we're going to select this surface and this surface. But instead of join, we're going to extrude cut. And the way we do that is we can change the direction, one-sided, to plane distance all. We're going to actually extrude the whole thing, and I'm going to flip the direction. If you can't see what's going on, you can go to this top cube here, have a look. You can see that the extrusion direction is that way. You can make more material, which is not what we're after. So we just flip the direction. So we don't want to make a distance when we get to all, and we want to flip the direction here. And you can see it's removed the material. That's exactly what we're after. So all means, the profile means we selected 2 profiles. The start plane was this one. The direction is this one. Okay, you can override it by clicking and dragging as well, like this, as you can see. But it stuffs up. You just do one side, and then, once again, flip it. The taper degree, ignore that. Operations cut. For this to exist, this extrude has to be a cut, okay? Because it can't extrude into existing material. It's got to remove that material. Click OK, and it's made the joint, okay? The last thing we can do, and this is a bonus task, you don't have to because this is already essentially complete, is you can create a decoration in this guy, right? So you can choose to cut away this bottom part to a certain extent. So we can do another sketch plane on this, create sketch on this surface, and let's draw a new centerline in, okay? Because the other one was part of the other sketch. Right click OK, make this a line. And then I can do a 3-point curve, create arc, 3-point arc, and go here, here, and here. Oh, actually it's not 3-point arc, my bad. I'm going to delete that one. I think it's a, no, it is a 3-point arc, isn't it? Okay, 3-point arc means you have to click on one side, the other side, and then the middle point. So the middle point will click somewhere on this line. And what I can do is I can make this distance the same as this distance so that they become symmetrical. See how that's not symmetrical, right? So what I can do is I can set a parameter. I can draw a line here, like this, to here. And I can draw a line from here to here. 2 lines. I can make this line, hold shift, hold this line too, go to constraints, make them equal. Okay, so that means I can make those lines equal. Okay, now these lines I don't really need to use. You can keep them as outlines if you want, but good practice is to make them construction lines because they're used to construct. Now that they're equal, I can move this point and it moves the other point because those lines are equal, and I can adjust this arc. So you notice it's still blue. This line's black, but the point, because it knows it's got to be collinear with this line, but it doesn't know how long it's got to be. So we can define that. So we can go to dimension, D for dimension. I want this point to be a certain distance from this point, so it doesn't make this part too thin. it also can't impede on this area because this whole area here is going to be inside a joint. This is the mortise and tenon. So I want this one to be, let's make it 40. Okay, and I can make this arc defined by its radius. Click in there and use a whole nice round number, maybe 260. 260 looks good. Yeah, that's fine. Or if you want to, you can just make that 300. Oh, 300. Okay. Click, right click, OK. All done. Finish the sketch. All right. And then we can extrude cut this guy and this guy. Now, once again, I'll show you another method of doing it. I can move this arrow back this way and it automatically tends to cut. See, when it was like this, it's joined, it's going to make more material. We don't want that. We want to cut away material. So move it back this way. It says cut, but instead of distance, I can go to all. So it's going to cut through everything. So no matter how thick this gets, it will always cut through the entire thing, which is a much better way of defining this action, right? This feature. Click OK, and there you have it. Our side rail is done. Make sure you save it. So when you save it, I'm going to save it to this folder. The name of this one is my Footstool demo underscore. This is how I'm doing anyway. Crossrail. Okay. Save. And that concludes this first one. I will cover the texture direction in another video. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you at the next video.